Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to the Nath Biogenes Q2 FY22 earnings conference call hosted by Go India Advisors. As a reminder, all participants' lines will be in listen-only mode, and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference, please signal an operator by pressing star and 0 on your touchtone phone. Please note this conference is being recorded. I now hand the conference over to Ms. Sheetal Khanduja from Go India Advisors. Thank you, and over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Bikram. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Nath Biogenes earnings calls to discuss the H1 FY22 results. We have on the call with us today Mr. Devender Khurana, CFO, and Mr. V.N. Kulkarni from Research. We must remind you that the discussion on today's call may include certain forward-looking statements and must be therefore viewed in conjunction with the risk that the company faces. I will now hand over to Mr. Khurana for his opening remarks. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Thank you, Sheetal. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our H1 earnings call. I hope you would have seen our earnings presentation, which has been uploaded on the exchanges and our website also. At the outset, let me wish you a very, very prosperous and auspicious Diwali on this auspicious day of Dhanteras, being the beginning. And I'm sure with the mercy of the gods, the investing community will also do extremely well. Now, I will start with the strategic update and then move on to the financial performance. Commencing with Kharif season, as per Agriculture Ministry data for Kharif 2021, by 16 July, only 57% of the 1,073 lakh hectares was sown across the country. Cotton area had reduced by about 11.57%. Paddy has also reduced by about 7% on YOY basis. Sowing of core cereals like maize, bajra and jawar is also down by about 20.63%, 20% say. It did cover up to a certain extent in the subsequent week, but overall there has been a lag in Kharif 2021. Ironically, the reservoir levels are also trailing as compared to the previous year. As per Central Water Commission, the live storage across the country is lower by about 7% from last year, and it is 15% down from the 10-year average. It goes without saying that these have affected the Kharif sowing across the nation. Our net cotton sales also clocked lower to approximately 12 million packets, which is around 11% lower than last year. This has been primarily on account of higher sales return, which were close to 27%. While COVID second wave did hamper Kharif sowing, there is also the issue of illegal BT cotton, which the entire organized sector is facing. We are seeing that farmers are now using an unapproved version of BT cotton. Sales of HTBT doubled to a record high 75 lakh packets of illegal cotton seed. Industry lobbies have written to the Agriculture Ministry demanding that action be taken to stop such sales, noting that the cultivation of GM cotton variant has serious environment and economic consequences. I'm talking of HTBT. We are also actively working with the farmers to educate them. Paddy sales we have been able to maintain in spite of the overall lag in sowing. And we are proud to announce that our other feed crops, especially bajra, maize, jawar, they registered a strong YOY growth of around 35% in H1 FY22. So I would like to say that apart from a temporary setback in cotton, otherwise we are good to go. Rabi season update. We are well positioned for the Rabi season, and we have lined up the vegetable sales and have well stocked mustard and wheat also. The new products in PNS segment are being pushed actively. The three verticals created to ensure sales are being consolidated and further augmented. Various farmer education programs and road shows are being organized to reach the farthest corners of the country. Our research department is constantly endeavoring to create better products to serve the farming community at large. On export front, we are in the process of establishing an outfit in Uzbekistan to cater to the Central Asian market. We propose to set up a PE for posterity. Coming to the H1 operations and financials, our H1 revenue grew, although marginally, to 229 crores. We have maintained the gross margin of 50% plus on YOY basis. Our EBITDA margin has marginally improved to 22.56%. We continue to maintain our long-term debt-free status. Our YOY finance cost is higher marginally on account of increased working capital financing. We are keeping our working capital under control, although the inventory level has increased due to sales return, but they are well manageable, and we don't expect any write-offs. Debtors have increased due to sales spread and are still being realized and under control. The company has made a positive operational cash flow once again, and that would help in easing out the working capital cycle. Company has declared its maiden dividend and warrants were dispatched to all shareholders in August. Those who have not been able to encash due to any issue may please get in touch with our RTA BigShare. Coming to FY23 growth outlook. In cotton, we expect a volume growth of 10 to 15% in FY23. Paddy, we are confident of a strong volume growth of 15 to 20%. Vegetable segment is still showing strong results, and we are anticipating a growth of 25 to 30% in this segment. Overall, the company is poised to grow at a steady pace, irrespective of the issues being faced by the sowing community. With this, I would like to open the floor for questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on your touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. To ask a question, please press star followed by 1 on your touchtone phone now. We have a first question from the line of Ankita Nayak from Rubik's Investment. Please go ahead.
Hi, thank you for the opportunity. So I have a couple of questions. What kind of products are in the pipeline, in the R&D pipeline for the vegetable segment?
Yeah. We have a pipeline tomato hybrids for both acidic and saladite. One which we are selling better than that, which is pyramided with the molecular markers. Then other is we are bringing out very new innovative chili hybrids which are resistant to viruses. The complete trialing has happened. Just yesterday we had a product advancement meeting of okra. We have identified 2 okra hybrids coming in that. Along with that, 2 cucumber hybrids. These are some of the products which are going to be lined up in the next year and the next to next year. In addition to that, in the guards, we have a new person looking after for the guards. We are getting guard products also in the pipeline.
Okay, so got it. And my next question is, so what is the rate of interest for our working capital loan?
Rate of interest works around 7.5, around 8. consortium rate.
Okay, okay. Got it, sir. Thank you, sir. That's all from my side for now. Thank you.
Thank you. To ask a question, participants may press star followed by 1 on their touchtone phone now. We have next question from the line of Niket Dhruv from Gruber Systems. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. I just want to know, pehle to happy Diwali to you and everyone back at the company.
Very happy Diwali to you. Yeah.
Sir, as far as my understanding goes, I think in the next at least 5 to 10 years, we can see a major inflation going up, especially in the area of food and agriculture. So, if that is the case, how does it does it positively affect the company, or how does it affect the company?
Let me just briefly touch on this. You see, we are into a sector which can never go down because food and clothing, say cotton, are always going to be the basic primary need of an individual. The land, the irrigable land is always at a premium because the land cannot increase and the yields on that particular land cannot be increased to multifold. So what you say is actually very correct. Between the demand and supply gap, what is going to happen is if the demand is going to continue to increase based on the population levels of the globe and the supply not coming through with that, definitely it is going to be a premium product. We as a company have always been a research-based, research-strong company. So we always try and create products based on the changing agroclimatic conditions and the changing environment. I think we are poised to continue to grow along with the industry and do well for ourselves and do well for our investors also. Agriculture is a drawn-out process. Please remember that.
Also, I just want to add, in fact, our company is also thinking of value addition into the seeds because we are coming out with new innovative products and our product should capture better value in the market is also our aim. So if you think of commodity inflation, that will also reflect into our seed cost increase because if at commodity level, if the prices are realized better, then we also expect that our prices in the seed sector will also get realized better.
Exactly. So our realization would be better in case of inflation.
Yes.
And sir, second question is, what are you? I mean, these days we keep reading about genetically modified seeds. So what are the views on GM seeds? Are they good? Are they bad? And how it can take on the world?
Doctor,
this is a fantastic question. I am one person who is involved in GMO education. Nath Biogene has complete belief in new science and technology, especially biotech integrated crop breeding. When I say biotech integrated crop breeding, it involves GMOs also. GMOs are biosafety level 1 kind of organisms which are to be tested for toxicology. And Nath Biogene is one of the leading GMO suppliers, especially in cotton. And we, in our lab, there are still some more GMOs are lined up. Only we are looking for the policy environment to be improved in India. GMOs are something which really create innovations and high yielding ability among the farmers because these are added with some genes and all the tests for toxicology and biosafety, etc., are done before releasing to it. There are two signs that I encounter in my life. One is press science, wherein a lot of people without data, they will be making some of the vague statements in the society to create some confusion. Otherwise, we are with a database of people, we really create the data. One is short-term feeding, long-term feeding, then the progeny also, etc. Means after the reproduction, what happens. All these data is taken and submitted to the relevant agency, and that approval is given based on certain committee which discusses it thoroughly. That committee involves Ministry of Health, Ministry of Environment, Forest, Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Science and Technology. Everybody involved in making this decision. Whoever are listening to me, please note that GMOs are not dangerous. We should welcome these GMOs because these help in improving both the quantity and quality of the agricultural produce. This will help us in creating both a nutritionally rich, nutritionally secured and food secured society in the world. And with GMO's adaptation, India can become a net exporter of agricultural produce to the needy countries all over the world. And best examples are Brazil, Argentina, US. Because of GMOs, they have become a net exporter of many agricultural commodities in the world. And India can be one with GMO release harmonization, policy harmonization is done. So thank you very much for this question. This is very lovely question to me.
Thank you, sir. Just one last question to end. So, sir, just wanted to know, like, in case if inflation comes and there's good realization about for our products, so how capacity expansion? What are our plans and how prepared we are for the next 5 years or 10 years good time which is ahead?
The capacity.
The doctor, please only. What is happening? Sorry.
Okay, please go ahead, sir. Yes.
Okay. Capacity production, as far as the steel industry is concerned, has never been a concern for the simple reason because, firstly, the production takes place on the land, and we have a line of growers and farmers who have been growing with us for almost about inception. All processing can be outsourced with the processing plant. Storage is hardly an issue because the government is giving a lot of infrastructure facilities to create GM storage and cold storage. So capacity production is the least of my worries. Yes, products and good products which will be well accepted into the market are more important, and Dr. Kulkarni's army is basically doing that, giving us product after product, year after year.
Yeah,
thank you.
I would like to endorse with that. Capacity expansion for North Biogen will never be a problem because the contract seed production happens and we have a very big network. The moment we feel that we have to enhance our capacity, it is just employing few more people and occupying few more territories and do it. And all the territories where we are producing and expanding our business are all known to us. So be it in North India, be it in Central India or Aurangabad or Hyderabad, we have already known people to expand that. And I'm very happy to say that Khurana ji or our MD, we are all in expansion mode now because last year we have a wonderful product coming out and we would like to expand it to the maximum possible because our chairman always says that do it, capture the profits as early as possible with the volume expansion. This is what our slogan is now.
Great to hear, sir. So that was my last question. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. A reminder to participants, if you wish to ask a question, please press star followed by 1 on your touchtone phone. We have next question from the line of Palak Chopra from Kapoor Capitals Private Limited. Please go ahead.
Hi, thank you so much for taking up my question. So my first question is there any update on the exports market which you were pursuing? Like what exactly are we setting up in Uzbekistan?
Madam, in 2019, we made a feasibility study for Central Asia. I was the one who went there. Currently, the addressable market, present status of the market in Uzbekistan alone is around $400 million, which is expected to increase $700 million by 2027 and $1 billion in 2030. Meaning that the government has very favorable policies now from the kind of the communist policies were there, which were very stringent, wherein investment in seed sector was not possible. Now the governments have opened up and they would like to amend their laws to help the investors to come and operate there. You know that Uzbekistan is a cotton country wherein the whole Russian Federation was producing the cotton. And fortunately, North Biogen has its own cotton GMO, which it is introducing in Myanmar, which is introducing in Sudan, and we are also introducing in Uzbekistan. We have, after that feasibility studies, unfortunately, we delayed because of the COVID. However, we picked up our phase. We have established a company called North Biogen Central Asia to cater the needs of those Central Asian countries. And we would like to establish our R&D and product development and production facilities there. Government of Uzbekistan is helping us in giving us some facilities and infrastructure to us. You will be very happy to know that your company has already appointed a country manager there, and we have begun our vegetable trials. In the winter, we have vegetable trials going. So that will be a subsidiary company which we are going to operate it. In addition to other places are like Sudan. Unfortunately, the meetings have been postponed because of the unrest there, and which has started happened in the last year. And we are now trying to project our own image into Myanmar because it is peaceful now. So we are trying to expand ourselves, be it as a company, as well as also expanding the distribution ship, not being present there also. These are our two strategies which we are operating in other countries.
Right. Very happy to hear this. So my next question is, why has cotton returns been higher than anticipated? If you could please throw some light on that.
Hello?
You are talking of sales return?
Yes.
Cotton returns. Yeah.
Yeah, cotton return. You see, what happens, Palak, is that by the end of June, we have only placed the material into the market, and we are only anticipating that the sales return will take place on an X percentage or Y percentage. But by the end of H1, the entire goods which are not being sold have already been brought back. Last year, we had around 26% of sales return. Year before that, it was only 11%. So this year, I had anticipated around 22%. It went up to 27%, which is still fine. We are okay with that. It's basically because the sowing areas have reduced overall. The farmers are still confused as to whether to come out properly and put the sowing. So many things are happening. Even water tables have gone down. So we are generally following the national average, if I may say that.
Right. Also, sir, if you could please just tell me about what marketing strategies are we adopting for vegetable segment?
We have created a separate vegetable vertical which is being headed by Mr. Ram Pandey. He is a guy of immense experience in vegetable sales. He has been given a dedicated set of people, including hierarchical regional managers and territory managers and field advisors down the line. And their only job is to sell vegetables. And because now it will be a separate team selling vegetables and only vegetables, definitely the dedication will help that we go much beyond what we have been doing so far, firstly. Secondly, we have also identified the territories in which vegetable is supreme, rather vegetable growing is supreme. So extra efforts are being given to those areas to ensure the vegetable growth. And of course, like Dr. Kulkarni said, products are in any case there.
I would like to add with Mr. Khuranaji that we have a very clear strategy on 2-3 fronts. Like one is exploiting our own strength because we have R&D and product development and product delivery strength in some of the crops, and in some of the crops we are not very strong. So we have developed 2 strategies. One is in-house sourcing and marketing. Wherever we are, we can develop upon it. And the second one is we expand our presence through our own research and development. So both the strategies are in place. So we believe in some places we would like to have a collaboration as a mantra, and in some places we would like to have our own R&D delivered products also. So with this, what we are doing is that we are not going to compromise our product basket on our product basket front and as well as our revenue flow front also. Thank you, ma'am.
Right. Thank you so much. That's all from my side. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. A reminder to participants, if you wish to ask a question, please press star 1 on your touchtone phone now. We have next question from the line of Anil Sharma from AB Capital. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir, and thanks for the opportunity. Just a couple of quick questions I wanted to know from you. First, in terms of paddy, I can see that the sales, we didn't see much growth over there. So if you could please elaborate a bit on that and any new product pipeline that we might have in paddy. And number two, I just wanted to check regarding the employee turnover amongst the senior managers. So probably I would just like to understand how many employees, might have left the organization in the past quarter or so at senior management level. Yeah.
Dr. you cover the paddy.
Yeah. I will. Actually, in 2019, we made a product status statement. In that, in which segment we don't have product and in which segment we are strong, and how do we move those products into market. So one of the area we were lacking was 120 days maturity products. I am very happy to announce you that there are two products. Probably there are some TV channels which have covered, and there are some local newspapers which have reported. There is one Dhadak, and there is one Dhadak Gold, and there is one Dhoom. So these are all suitable for different territories, which were test marketed last year and which have been successfully taken approved by the farmers community and farming community. And thanks to our salespeople also, they have worked very hard. And next year we are thinking of exactly doubling whatever we have done it. Our products are successful and competitive in this 120 days Wala crop. So another is that we have tested initially few products on M series, means which have DNA markers in that. In that also there are two products which are successful, but that will be going for next year test marketing. However, this test marketed product will be going into the volume building in the next seasons. Probably in the next season, we will find a rice as a very different picture than what we have this time. Khuranaji, the next part.
Now let me tell you about employee turnover. Actually, in our company, we have employees who have been with us maybe more than 2 to 3 decades. I have myself been here for almost 26 years now. Our management upward is assistant general manager upwards, like HOD level. We have around about 40 people, and I am proud to say that over last 1 year, not even 2 to 3 people left. So that way, our employee retention is quite good, and the motivation level is good to stay on because everybody feels that the company is going to do well in the future. And those who leave, in any case, we always have replacement lined up, and the work or operations do not suffer.
Okay. Thank you, sir, and happy to hear that. That's all from my end. Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the last question. I would now like to hand the conference over to the management for closing comments. Over to you, sir.
Okay. At the outset, let me thank you from the core of my heart for having attended this conference, although it was scheduled at the fag end of the holidays, but somehow, because of operations reasons, we couldn't do it earlier. So thank you for being with us, and thank you for the continued interest in our company. I would like to only reiterate the fact that based on the research and the effort being put in research by the company, we are always trying to create pipeline products which will be well accepted by the farming community and create an overall benefit to the farmers. This would result in the company growing. The growth has been partially stagnated over last 2 years, basically because of COVID and COVID-related problems. Still, I am proud to announce that we haven't suffered as much as others have suffered, but we plan to jump back to our original growth prospects that we have been announcing, and hopefully Kharif 22 is going to be another bumper year for the company. Thank you. Stay with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you, gentlemen of the management. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Go India Advisors, that concludes this conference call. Thank you for joining with us, and you may now disconnect your lines.